All right, so we'll be looking at question 14 of May, June 2015, variant 2. Uh, and so it says that when will a society have achieved an equitable distribution of income? Now, in order to attempt to do this question correctly, you have to understand what equity basically means and how it's different from equality. Now, equality would just be distributing everything like evenly. Just like in fact, equality is basically what C says, where all in when the incomes within society are equally distributed. You just take it, you divide it equally. That's fine. Equity is a little different. Equity is about what is fair. Now, what is fair might not be the same as what is equal. Um, Equality could be giving every family a car. However, it might be more fair to give more cars or a bigger car to a larger family than to a smaller family that doesn't really need it. So, what is fair is difficult, and the issue in figuring out what is fair is that fairness, the entire idea of fairness is a bit subjective. It varies. um, it could vary perspective to perspective. It is a part of your normative economics rather than your positive economics. um, and so it is difficult to figure out what is fair through, let's say, objective measures, or there's not really one particular definition or one particular fix that applies everywhere, applies to every society, to every economy, as to what is really an equitable distribution of income, because every economy or every society could have a different interpretation of what is a fair or an equitable distribution. So if you look at the options, well, when all individuals have equal job opportunities, now again, that could be an example of an equitable distribution of income. But since this is subjective, um, it might not necessarily be true across all economies. When all workers are paid wages equal to their marginal value product, which is basically the value of the product that they're making, so very similar to marginal revenue product. And again, this might be the case, but it's not necessarily uh, true for all economies. You can clearly cross out C, because that shows where society has achieved an equal distribution rather than an equitable distribution, because things are just equally distributed. The reason why it would be D is because when the society believes that the distribution of income is fair. So again, the issue here is because equity itself is such a subjective thing that it would vary society to society. So when that particular society believes that this particular distribution is fair, only then will that society achieve the idea of an equitable distribution of income. So the one thing that you need to remember is how this is really a normative statement, how this is subjective. And after you recognize that, it would be easy to just point to whichever option in that indicates that this is a that this particular distribution is subjective and depends on that particular society which is in question. um, I can also show the examiner report for this. So question 14 was answered correctly by 14% of candidates. So don't feel too bad if you didn't get it right, because I don't think I got it right either when I first did it. And a very small percentage did get it right. 5% chose option A, 46% chose option B, and 35% chose option C. Equitable relates to fairness and not to equality. It is more a subjective interpretation of what society thinks is a fair distribution rather than an objective measure. And hopefully now it's clear why the answer was D.